The Albanese government is backing gas as a key energy source in Australia through to 2050 and beyond. That's despite fierce opposition from the Greens, crossbenchers and environmental groups who all want to see a phase out of the fossil fuel.
The Future Gas Strategy out today will see new gas projects receive greater support from the federal government amid warnings of supply shortfalls in the domestic market in the coming years. Let's go straight to Monty Bovell in Parliament House. Good morning, Monty. What can you tell us about what the government's likely to unveil today?
Well, good morning, Bridget. We know that Australia wants to transition to net zero emissions by 2050, and the release of this long-awaited gas strategy really paints a picture as to what role gas plays in that transition. And essentially, the key point from this strategy is that gas will play a very important role, or continue to play an important role for energy through to 2050 and beyond. It is being released with full details today by the Resources Minister, Madeleine King. Now, she has made it clear that this strategy says that new sources of gas supply are needed to meet demand during the transition to net zero. This means continued exploration, investment and development in the sector. Now, we know that around 5 million households across the country rely on gas for heating and energy, and Madeleine King says to have affordable gas for those households, you need to have a reliable supply. We have heard some reaction already on the program from the opposition leader in the Senate, Simon Birmingham. Here's a little of what he had to say.
I know that many international investors and others in the gas industry have been very concerned in recent years that they have seen the incentives to invest eroded under this government and that they are in a circumstance where, in reality, all Australians are paying higher energy prices because of the way in which the markets have been mismanaged to date.
Now, it's not just about the supply here in Australia, but it's also about the supply for our exporters. We know that Australia, the gas supplies around 27% of Australia's energy needs, but also represents 14% of Australia's export income. In 2022, we know that liquid natural gas, we exported about $91 billion worth of that. So this strategy ensures that that can continue into the future as well. So, Bridget, no doubt more details as the day unfolds.
Yeah, and we'll bring all the details to you across our platforms on ABC News. Thanks a lot, Monty.
New details have emerged this morning in the case against a man charged following the killings of Perth brothers Jake and Callum Robinson in Mexico. North America correspondent Carrington Clark joined us from Ensenada earlier.
So I'm just here outside the court in Ensenada. It was a tiny little courtroom that we were inside, less than 30 people in total, including the accused, Jesus Jurado, who was there clad in a orange jumpsuit. He was handcuffed, he was chained to the floor, and for most part he sat impassively as the judge worked through the prosecution's case against him. But the most important new piece of evidence comes via his then girlfriend. We believe they have now broken up, Ari Giselle, who has actually also been arrested in connection with what was then the disappearance of Jake and Callum Robinson and their friend Carter Road. But she now claims that Jesus Jurado, also known as El Quecas, has confessed to their killing. So this was what he allegedly said either the day of or the day after he killed those three men, when he said, and I am paraphrasing because it is profane, but I screwed up 3 gringos. And she asked, what do you mean? And he said, I killed them. He then proceeds to give her a mobile phone, which the prosecutors claim belonged to one of the 3 men. He also allegedly said that they had lots of money and electronics on them. And also they had this vehicle, which he has allegedly taken the tyres off and then put onto her vehicle, because that was the vehicle he was driving around with the night before. So this is an extraordinary twist in this story so far. Ari Giselle is still in jail because of those alleged drugs offences, but it does appear that she has now become a witness for the prosecution. At the moment, Jesus Jurado is only charged for being responsible for the disappearance of the three men, although we do expect those charges to be upgraded to murder. Importantly, the prosecutors do believe other people are involved in these killings. They haven't said who, and they haven't said when they might be charging them, but given the nature of these killings, the fact that all three men were shot in the head, the fact that their bodies were then transported 6 or 7 kilometres to a well to be disposed of, and that well also had a seemingly unrelated victim in it, and also that there are drag marks indicating that the bodies were pulled potentially. We're not sure exactly what the drag marks are, but these bodies are moved into the vehicle, and also that the tyres are switched on the car do indicate that you would have to have more than one person involved. But that is the current state of the prosecution's case. There are obviously many unanswered questions so far.
So many questions still. Carrington Clark with the latest from Mexico. Emma's here with the rest of Morning's news.
Thanks, Michael. The man who was stabbed by a radicalised Perth teenager in a Bunnings car park has spoken from his hospital bed, saying he's still coming to terms with what happened. The 16-year-old boy attacked the man in a car park in the southern suburb of Willerton before he was shot and killed by police. The man, who wants to remain anonymous, said the ordeal had taken a significant toll on his physical and mental health and thanked first responders and hospital staff. New South Wales police have spent the night trying to track down a man who allegedly stabbed his former partner after she left a gym in inner Sydney. Officers say yesterday's attack in a car park outside the Alexandria Fitness Centre at lunchtime was targeted and domestic violence related. The 39-year-old woman remains in a serious but stable condition in hospital. Police are searching for a 40-year-old man who they say is her former partner and who is known to police for other domestic violence offences. South Australia's government will send independent experts to the Upper Spencer Gulf after confirmation the blast furnace in Whyalla has been damaged during attempts to restart it. The steelworks has been offline for more than 7 weeks after the furnace cooled too much and molten metal inside hardened following routine maintenance. The latest problem at the troubled site means more than 1,000 workers could face a lengthy stint of reduced pay. Prince Harry has made a rare public appearance in London as he marked the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games. At the same time he attended the event at London's St Paul's Cathedral, the King was hosting other senior royals at the first annual garden party at Buckingham Palace. Harry is not expected to meet with his father during his UK visit.